Fellow St. Lucians, this is Open Mic. We're now starting the fourth and final segment of our program. When we left off, we were discussing the situation with the IMF, which is at our doorsteps now, and Ms. Isaac was indicating to me that in her humble opinion, that is not absolutely necessary, because the revenue which we are taking in St. Lucia, if handled differently, that could be avoided. Mary, can you just top up a bit more on what I'm just saying about that?
Well, first of all, we have an economy that we are placing a lot of focus on tourism. Mm-hmm. However, our employment, our workers are very low-skilled people. Mm-hmm. What we have to shift that focus back to agriculture, mm-hmm. because agriculture does not require that high level of, intellectual, yes. Education and right. So on and so forth. So if we look at focusing more on agriculture and assisting our people to produce, at least to become self-sufficient, yeah. we will be cutting down so much on our import bill. Yeah. And I keep emphasizing chicken, poultry, because that is one of my areas of strength. Yeah. And I know what I'm talking about when I speak about poultry. Mm-hmm. I'm saying we have an import bill of about $40 million a year. Mm-hmm. If we can cut that down, we can become self-sufficient in mm-hmm. poultry production, mm-hmm. just like Barbados. Barbados is just a stone's throw away, and they are self-sufficient. We are already self-sufficient in egg production. Yes. We can become self-sufficient in poultry production. We can look at vegetables. We have a $50-something million import bill for mm-hmm. vegetables, fruits, vegetables. We can do something with that. When you look at meats, mm-hmm. small ruminants, mm-hmm. something that is so easy to grow. When I went to Montserrat, mm-hmm. and they were actually, the Minister of Agriculture, they actually agreed that if St. Lucia wanted goats, they would give it to them for free. They just have to pay for the transportation. Send a boat, we load it for you guys. Mm-hmm. I came back, I gave that information to the Minister for Agriculture. I don't see anything happening with that. Remember, they had sent us some mules after
yes, I remember.
Right. So it's not like we don't have experience there. It's just put the machinery back in place. So let us grow the agricultural sector. Mm-hmm. We have a lot of people here that we can absorb in that area, yeah. right? So we have a situation where we have a very high crime rate. Yes. People have to eat. Mm-hmm. Even if you don't have an education, it doesn't matter who you are, you yes. have to eat.
A hungry man is an angry man.
Right, and these people, people will have sex, they will have children. Yeah. They must feed those children. Mm-hmm. So we have to find a way of employing these people so that they can become gainfully employed, mm-hmm. and they will cut down, on this criminal activity that is happening in this country. And this is why it's happening. We can talk about the gangs, we can say it's drugs, whatever it is. People need to feel that they are making a meaningful contribution also. So we have to look at shifting our focus from the tourism, and then we can do a niche tourism industry, right. because everywhere in the Caribbean is doing the same thing. We have to look at something that we can market that is unique that's going to bring the tourists to come, and these people who are in tourism, they are going to focus on that. But the other thing we have to focus on is agriculture. We ought to be doing that. We have totally neglected that sector.
I'll tell you something, Mary. Last week, some people came to me considering the agricultural program, and I took them to the Taiwan embassy because I know the growing of tilapia is profitable. Okay,
oh, yeah.
Because 2 years ago, St. Lucia, when they were running the farms, mm-hmm. they produced 90,000 kilos of tilapia. Wow. And that is a big business. Mm-hmm. I went to the embassy last week and I was surprised to learn that at least 7 or 8 St. Lucians are already doing it. As a matter of fact, they told me there's a gentleman called, I think Mr. Sexius, who has a farm somewhere in Beausejour in Vieux-Fort. Mm-hmm. He's the biggest producer. And they told me I should go down and see what this guy is doing. Okay. Now, unfortunately, I saw something which I didn't like, because I also went to the Union Station where they do the, not the anthuriums. What's it?
The prawns?
No, the flowers.
The orchids.
Orchids,
yeah.
orchids.
Mm-hmm.
And I went there 2.5 years ago. The thing was in beautiful condition.
Oh, yes, those were beautiful.
I went there last week, Mary, and I would like you to go there. It has deteriorated completely. And I asked the Taiwan embassy what happened. They said, well, November last year, the government took it over. The Ministry of Agriculture took it over. Tell you something, all the plants have dried up. There are weeds right around the place. I mean, this is unbelievable because the people have started this project and this thing should have been continued properly. Okay? And I am learning that either at the end of the year or early next year, they are going to take over, the ministry is going to take over the farms for the tilapia. Now, what they do apparently is that they grow the tilapia and give it to people. But I think that if anybody's listening to this program today, they better stop that and let Taiwan continue to do that and let Taiwan take back the orchids, because these things were being sold at $60, $70 for one.
At least allow them to pass on the technology, the skills, and the know-how.
But they have passed it on. But it's typically what is happening in this country is that people take things and the lack of discipline has just gone to pieces.
But also sometimes, Mr. Shastri, they don't give the workers the necessary resources to continue the process. So in that case, like you need the fertilizers, the tools to do the thing, the pots and so on and so forth. Whereas the Taiwanese people, they have a deep pocket and they probably would be doing everything. But once you give it to Ministry of Agriculture and the budget has been cut, they put in all these, they giving the money to all these consultants and everything. There's no money to run the public service.
But that's terrible.
There is no money. And it is not that we do not have a budget. We have a budget, but where are the priorities for that budget? Where is the money going to? You know, and these are some of the things that, and when you speak about these things, they come after you and this and that, but that's supposed to be public. The estimate of expenditure, that's supposed to be online. I asked for the IMF report and I'm hearing somebody saying, oh, I should write to the Prime Minister. That is utter nonsense. Everybody else's report is online. All other countries from A to Z. St. Lucia is S, and St. Lucia's report is not there for 2011. It's there, you know, up to 2010. But from 2011, 12, and 13, the government has not given them permission to put it online. And the IMF is waiting for permission to put it online. And people must understand those issues. This is for public consumption. It's not for Mary Isaac. It's for anybody, the St. Lucian that's in New York, the St. Lucian that's anywhere in the world, to be able to pick it up, access it, and read what it is saying. And when we had that meeting with the IMF, the gentleman said to us, it is strange because anytime a government do not want to publish their report, that should raise a red flag to the people of the country. And they should demand that it is published. For all you know, what is in the report, I may not like it when I see it. But that is my prerogative. I have to be, that report must be made accessible. You understand? So if I want to see it, I will see it. It may well be saying something about the 10% cut, because I haven't seen that in any IMF report anyway. And I would love for somebody to send me that information, whether IMF is saying cut wages, salaries by 10%. I know the IMF is saying cap wages and salaries, restrain wages and salaries. But I have not seen cut by 10%. So maybe it's in that report, and the report is not being released, and we're not seeing it. So I would like them to release those reports.
But you said something earlier, Mary. If you're going to save $16 or $17 million, and you have 200 million due, and it's still a shortfall of 50, I don't see the rationale. The situation is far more serious than it actually is.
And we should sit and discuss it.
As we are coming close to the end of our program, Alan's son, who is 7 years of age, said to me recently, he said, Grandpa, I understand that Mary Isaac is having a romance with my dad. Can you explain that to me? So I would ask you, please, if it's something I don't know, whether you will explain this romance situation to me.
So I am really talking to my potential father-in-law without knowing it.
That's right.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's
what a revelation, Mr.
So congratulations.
Mr. Shastri, don't put fire in people's business. For all you know, your son's wife may be watching this and thinking there is some truth to this. We have to dispel that.
My son is the one that brought it to my attention.
Well, now people are coming to me and asking me, what is this thing the Prime Minister is saying? We have some kind of a letter writing thing going. So maybe it's a triangle. You know, maybe it's a triangle. We'll let us pray on that one. We'll let us pray on that.
So, Mary, I want to, we're just about to wrap up at the end of our program. As a wrapping up, just can you pass some final comments, please?
Mr. Shastri, I hope for the sake of St. Lucia that the government of the day rethink its strategy, whatever it is trying to employ. I hope that they think of making information available to the public so we can view the information, so we can know how much trouble our country is in, if it is in trouble, so that we will know what it is we are faced with, and we can try to come together and put things in place to save St. Lucia. I do not believe St. Lucia necessarily have to go to the IMF, but I believe the type of management strategies that are being employed right now is going to cause us to go to the IMF. But I am hoping that it doesn't.
Yeah. Well, on a wrapping up situation, I want to thank you greatly for being here today, because my concern really as a business person is that if a proper agreement is not reached, I can see problems looming, and which will only make a bad situation worse. So I sincerely trust that the powers that be and the persons who can relay this information to the rightful parties, please get together, let us solve this problem and cut off the controversy, because I can say very clearly that controversy doesn't work for me, for St. Lucia, nor anyone else. St. Lucia, this is Open Mic, and I want to say goodbye till next Sunday, and thank you so much for listening. Mary, thank you.
Thank you for having me, Mr. Jasmine.